Now, tip 4, we are into alcohol and Christmas. This is a big question I get all the time, so I felt I had to cover it. Okay, it is time to talk about alcohol. So, whether or not you're a big drinker, we all know the effects that alcohol can have on our body. And I thought before going into, because a lot of people ask me what are the best drinks to have? What are the best drinks to have to stay on track? But before I get into that, I thought it would be best to start, as I always like to, with the facts about alcohol. So, what is the science behind alcohol and how does it impact our bodies? Well, don't want to go into too much detail, but alcohol can affect our bodies and our endeavors to stay on track in two ways. Firstly, it affects our metabolism. And secondly, as we probably already know, alcohol is full of calories. But first, let's start with how alcohol affects your metabolism, and then I'll run through which are the best drinks and why. So, in brief, alcohol changes our metabolism by changing the way your body uses energy. Okay, typically your body uses glucose and fat as energy through the glycogenic and oxidative pathway. But once you introduce alcohol, your body quickly shifts its focus from breaking down glucose and fat to breaking down alcohol for energy instead, because it sees the alcohol as a poison. So it wants to break it down and burn that off as energy. Now, alcohol itself contains about 7 calories per gram. So when you drink, your body will be turning to these alcohol calories for energy, and it won't be turning to the food you're eating at the same time for energy. And instead, those calories will most likely be stored as fat, which isn't good. Okay? So that's the point. So the body is turning to alcohol to burn off calories instead of the food you're eating. And then the food you're eating turns into fat. So that's not good. Along with this, though, on top of that, alcohol interrupts your sleep, which causes tiredness, right? And then when we're tired, it causes havoc with 2 hormones that play a really big part in our regulation of hunger, and they are leptin and ghrelin. So when your sleep is disturbed, your body produces more of the hormone ghrelin, and that is the hunger hormone, and that therefore it causes you to feel hungrier the next day, and that's why you eat more. And if that wasn't bad enough, a lack of sleep causes your body to produce less leptin, and leptin is a hormone that makes you feel full. So in essence, it kind of is like the perfect storm. You know, one is making you hungrier, the other one is making you feel less full. So that is why when you are experiencing a hangover, it can be accompanied with a high level of munchies the next day. Okay, I'm going to stop scaring you now on that. But now that we know the science of alcohol and our bodies in relation to our nutrition and goals, how do we make wise choices that can help ourselves enjoy Christmas at the same time as doing as little damage to our diets as possible? So, firstly, let's talk about beer. Okay, popular as it is not calorie friendly. Some dark stouts you can get are as high as 255 calories per drink, while a pint of Guinness is about 170 calories. Now you can get lighter beers like Coors Light, and they will have lighter alcoholic content in them as well, which is good. But one drink to avoid definitely, which is high in sugar, is cider. It's not good on the calorie index, okay, because it's very high in sugar. Now, if you're not a beer fan, let's talk about cocktails and spirits. The general rule about cocktails and spirits is the less sugar added, the better. So basically, the Coke in your rum and Coke or the tonic in your gin and tonic should be avoided. And if you can get the slim versions of these, that's definitely better than going for the really sugary varieties. Okay, now the best type of cocktails are the types with as little added stuff and added sugar as possible, like an old fashioned, because that only has 1 sugar cube added and it gets the majority of its calories from the spirit itself. But let's say you don't like an old fashioned, then going for drinks with a high level of lime juice is a good idea because it's high in flavor, but it's lower in calories. Okay, so there's little tips on those. Now, as for red or white wine is slightly higher in calories in general, as it's more often than not will have a higher alcoholic content, but there are more sugars found in white wines, so it really does actually kind of come down to your preference. It's a bit of a much of a muchness. But if you are wondering how many calories in your favorite drink, just give it a quick Google and you'll find it easily. Now, lastly on this, as I wanted to highlight the previous tip about exercise, okay? Exercise, another reason why the exercise tip is so important is exercise will massively help combat the after effects of alcohol over the festive season. You know, we do all know that alcohol is a depressant, you know, that happy endorphins mentioned in the last tip that exercise produces will allow you to have a more positive outlook on things and help you deal with the hangover and the, you know, inevitable stresses and things that come up with Christmas. So I really, really believe that exercise will be massive to help you throughout the festive season, especially if you are, you know, enjoying a few drinks here and there. It will combat all those after effects of alcohol. So exercise is a winner. So that was tip number 4. Are we on to now tip number 5? Tip number 5 is have a plan. Okay, so what do I mean? Well, one of the most important things for your